Hello and welcome to this evening's South Today. A very green South Today. Tonight we're talking carbon and we're starting right here, which means we can't use these screens, we can't use these lights and we can't use this camera. Are we on? Tonight on South Today, we're going to try and cut the size of our carbon footprint. So if you haven't gathered already, things might look a little bit different. We all have a carbon footprint. That's the amount of carbon dioxide we generate through our choices and our actions. Now, you might have seen this number, 1.5. That's a target. That's the aim that by the end of the century, the world average surface temperature will have risen by no more than 1.5 Celsius compared with pre-industrial levels. Scientists say that can be achieved, but only if we make drastic changes. Drastic changes like this. Electric vehicles. We see more than ever on our roads. Indeed, our reporters drive these to jobs. Now, normally we are broadcasting from the studio behind me. If we're out and about, we use a diesel generator like this. But tonight we're trying something completely new. Tonight we're running off hydrogen. Contained in these red canisters is the hydrogen which feeds into this generator here, and this generator is powering our outside broadcast vehicle where everyone is sitting pressing the buttons. But it's more than just what we plug into. Cutting carbon is about how we travel. It's about what we eat. It's about the choices that we make. Welcome to this special programme. As South Today comes this evening from Southampton. Tonight we're looking at what we can do to reduce our carbon output. Right across the south, work is being done to do just that. And if you need a reminder of why that's important, take a look at this. So, here's the bad news. We know that human activities are causing temperatures to rise. We've seen some of the effects of that right here in the south. From the recent flooding in West Sussex,
it's okay,
to scenes like this in Dorset, where intense heat waves have left the south tinderbox dry. And in extreme cases, like here on the Isle of Wight, we're seeing dramatic changes to our landscape happen overnight, in part because of long-term changes to our climate.
There was this bizarre noise. That's the only way I can describe it. It was like fire cracking noises, and it was all the tree roots starting to move.
But scientists have said urgent action now can limit the worst effects of climate change. And reducing carbon emissions is key to that. It's an issue that's being discussed at a worldwide level. And today, we're looking at what we can do. Yeah, typical Tuesday evening here in Southampton. It's turned a little bit chilly, so we've popped a coat on, but we've got a bird's eye view here right across the city. You can see the docks in the background. Also, a cruise ship is in port. You might be able to hear the railway, which is tucked down just below. But a city like so many that is having to take action to cut its carbon. But a city and a town and a village, of course, is made up of people, of individuals like you and I. So is there more we could do to help? Well, let's start closer to home, much closer to home. Wherever we are, whatever we do, there's no getting away from it. We've all got a carbon footprint. Some feet, though, are bigger than others. Head of Energy at Reading University, Dr. Sam Moody, is here to measure mine. So how is my carbon footprint made up?
In general, for the UK, the average person would be about a quarter in their food purchases and their food waste, about a quarter of their emissions from travel and transport, about a quarter is their home, so anything they do domestically that uses energy, gas, electric at home, and then the final quarter is their sort of purchasing, all the embodied emissions in what they buy. Xbox, Nintendo.
I've given Sam free rein to check mine.
These are literally one of the worst things that you can buy in the world. So these look Fairly old. What kind of vehicle do you travel in? How would you best describe your diet? Do you regularly turn off lights and not leave your appliances on standby? There we go. So you're over target. Your footprint is 13.2 tonnes. The average footprint is 8.8. The average UK resident has a carbon footprint 4 times higher than what the Paris Agreement has determined we need to be at by this particular point in time.
Right, let's get to work. But if I can't afford to buy an electric car or install solar panels, can I still make a decent dent in my carbon? Sam says there are some easy wins.
Moving your veg cooking into the microwave, steaming that in a little tub in the microwave, minimising the amount that you use the oven, but when you are using it, put as much stuff into it as possible. It won't get any less efficient, it will get more. Just cutting out beef for a week, just cutting out ham from sandwiches for a couple of days a week. Those small things make a bigger impact than turning off some chargers overnight for their entire year. Boiler time clocks, having things on a decent programme, reducing your thermostat by 1 degree will save you £250.
That all sounds like I can make a positive difference.
Yeah, absolutely. I would say that for no investment, you could probably reduce your carbon footprint by 30–40%. So if we give you some challenges over the next couple of weeks, then we can try and do a little bit of analysis on that.
First challenge, no driving to the bus stop. Day one. And we're late. Obviously. I'm now the light police.
Light.
Dad!
Oh, the heating needs adjusting. Got to find a greener energy supplier. The diet has to change, less dairy.
Oh, where's the oat milk?
Oh. Oh, and I'm back on the bike. Piece of cake. Yeah, late again. It wasn't as easy as a piece of cake. But just to remind you, there's a live page right now. If you want to find out more about what we're doing tonight and see behind the scenes, then log on bbc.co.uk/Hampshire, Dorset, Berkshire or Oxford. Now, Dr. Sam is with us. I was really surprised at how bad my carbon footprint is.
I think most people probably would be, actually. I think that in the UK we're something like 4 times over the threshold that we're supposed to be according to the Kyoto Protocol, so that's pretty much all of us, I think.
It was really useful the way that you divided it into those 4 segments, because then you can target specific areas, can't you? Travel is my bad one.
Yeah, so I think everybody should be encouraged to measure what their own footprint is, because it'll be drastically different from somebody who never eats meat or somebody who never flies. But for a lot of us, car owners or flyers, transport is probably going to be a fairly hefty chunk, 20–30%, something like that.
Now, you worked out with your clever gadget, my carbon footprint was 13.2. I've been doing my best. Have I done enough?
I think that you've made some substantial reductions, actually. I think that your journey to work is about 11 miles, yeah, so 22 miles there and back. That's 4.5 kilos of carbon saved every day that you don't do that journey. And for you now, I think that equates to about 9 tonnes of carbon, so you've reduced from 13 to 9.
But only if I keep it up for the rest of the year. This is the new lifestyle.
Yeah, absolutely. But then to put it into context, that's I think it was 4.8 kilograms of carbon saved from the journey. You've also got 4.5 kilos in a homemade beef lasagna. So you can make exactly the same impact by not eating a lasagna if that's something that you do every month. Obviously, depending on how often you do these kinds of things. But
all right.
Yeah, there's quite a lot of different ways that you can do it.
Sam, thank you. More from Sam a little later on the programme. Let's stay with that theme of food, because research by Oxford University has found that reducing your meat consumption can make a real impact on cutting our carbon. But is it for everyone? Have we got the appetite? Catherine DaCosta has been finding out about a clamatarian diet.
This is the Cherwell Collective, just north of Oxford, a not-for-profit organisation dedicated to preventing surplus food from going to landfill. As well as a weekly food larder, they run Clamatarian Kitchen, turning leftovers into low-carbon meals.
So Emily, what is a clamatarian diet?
A clamatarian diet is a very flexible diet where you're considering the carbon cost of your decisions and how your plate impacts the planet. It's the single most important way an individual can have an impact on climate change.
What decisions should I be making in the supermarket?
So you should try to be thinking about how your food is produced and where it's come from and how it's getting to you. So you can kind of think about, is this food in season? Has it been grown in a greenhouse? Will you have had to fly it to me?
Food production accounts for 20 to 30% of global greenhouse gas emissions. But switching from beef and lamb to pork and poultry could dramatically cut your carbon footprint because they produce less methane. Here they use a points-based system, using car miles to indicate how much carbon's in each meal. Tomatoes and corn are equal to 1 car mile, while beef, lamb and lobster are worth 8 car miles per 100 grams. On today's menu is chicken curry and salad.
It smells gorgeous. So tell me about this meal then. I've got the chicken masala curry.
Each portion of chicken will be about 2 car miles for a 100-gram portion of chicken. So that's about the size of the inside of your palm, but that's probably more like 2 servings of chicken. There will also be tomatoes in there, which will add another car mile. There will be some dairy, which will add another car mile. Once you start adding up all those car miles, you arrive at 7 sort of quite quickly. And 7 is a bit high, so we're trying to get people to kind of look at having meals that are more in the 4, 5, 6 range. We really advocate for a 75% plant-based plate, but if you do nothing else, just eating less but better meat is the most important thing you can do for the planet.
Emily wants to see carbon labelling on packaging to help consumers make informed decisions.
So if people have like a really low carbon footprint during the week, then maybe they don't feel so bad having a beef roast over the weekend if that's the only meat they're eating during the week. And you can kind of make those choices that are best for your family in an informed way.
Food production alone is set to push our planet past the 1.5 degree climate target. Scientists say significant changes are needed to rethink what goes from farm to fork. Catherine DaCosta, BBC South Today.
You're watching a South Today special. We're running on hydrogen tonight to cut our carbon footprint. Another way that you can help is not only what you put inside your body, but what you put on top of your body, what you wear. And changing the clothes that you choose could help. And Jana Gaggill wears a lot of clothes from charity shops, and they've also been upcycled as well. And Anjana's been finding out how clothes can help.
Did you know we throw away more than £140 million worth of clothing in the UK every year? But one solution to that is to wear second-hand. So, for example, this dress was given to me by a friend, a hand-me-down, and this dress cost me just £12 from a charity shop, and I wore it on air last Monday. In fact, most of the clothes I wear on air are either second-hand, pre-loved or hand-me-downs. It's cheaper and better for the environment. And I've been looking at the ways other people have been doing their bit. I've come to the first Overton Guides near Basingstoke. They're working towards a new badge, the Swish Fashion Upcycling Badge. The idea for the project came from local author Tash Bell.
I wrote The Swish, which is a teen novel all about a girl who sews and upcycles her own clothes. And I did lots of workshops with the guides, and they said, hey, why don't we turn it into a badge?
The key part of upcycling, though, is the ability to sew, which seems to be a lost art.
Kids were saying, we love the story, we love the heroine, but we can't sew, it's not for us. And I was going, but that's crazy. It's not valued as a skill so much. So I thought, right, I'll get out there and I'll try and get them sewing myself.
It was just a square piece of material, and then I cut it in half, and then my nan sewed them together on the sewing machine to create these gloves.
We took some clothes that were from a charity shop that people didn't want anymore, and they cut them up, they added buttons, they added ribbons. It was just so much fun.
Decorate different things and just express your creativity.
So after months of preparation, the first Overton Guides are launching their Summer 24 collection. Second-hand, upcycled and handmade clothes. And even I got to join in and show off one of my best bargains.
Always look so stylish. I look like I've shopped at a charity shop. Now, it's not just about what's on the screen that has changed. It's also what's behind the screen as well. We've all been trying to cut our own carbon. Alexis Green cycled into work today at a rate of knots.
I have.
Now, of everyone, Alexis, you must have seen the effects of climate change more than most.
Yes, John. Over the last 16 years of presenting the weather, I've noticed a big change in the climate. We're looking at warmer, wetter winters, hotter, drier summers, and I've spoken to a number of scientists over the years. Now, that has led to big extremes like the flooding that we've seen quite recently. And because of that, I've made some changes at home myself to help the environment.
Handy with the screwdriver here.
Yes, I love upcycling. And in fact, I've been to a place up the road where they make furniture out of reclaimed wood.
I absolutely love DIY, and the material I like working with is wood. It's so versatile. I like upcycling furniture and making new things, which is why for my low carbon film I've come here to Still and Bloom in Southampton, where they make furniture out of reclaimed wood. But what do they do with the offcuts? I'm going to find out from owner Nick Fisher. Hi Nick, nice to meet you.
Hello, how you doing?
Yeah, good, thanks.
Excellent. So first off, all our furniture is designed to sort of minimise waste as much as humanly possible. However, there's always going to be some little offcuts. Just the other day, with my 5-year-old boy, we made a little birdhouse, so I thought we'd give that a crack today. I've got some components here. We're just going to put them together. Safety first.
Goggles.
Some goggles.
Okay.
Okay, so drill, the little one, please.
Yep, okay.
Okay, so, yeah. Take a screw. Right, let's flip it round. We want to take that drill now, pre-drill some little pilot holes, and then, yeah, keep going.
Nick started his company in lockdown, building furniture from his garage. Over the last few years, it's grown rapidly, and he now employs 20 staff. Nothing goes to waste, and whilst we were filming, Leah, who is local, turned up to collect some free sawdust for her horse, Wilson, who is stable-bound because of an injury.
We've all heard of sort of fast fashion, but fast furniture's sort of, I feel, is a real big problem for the planet, and it's starting to be recognised now. The carbon footprint of transporting furniture on a massive container ship halfway across the world is a big problem. Most of our products are actually sort of got a sub-zero carbon footprint. There's clearly a real appetite for it. The challenge for us is sort of keeping up with that whilst staying true to our principles of affordability, a real ethical and sustainable way of making furniture, you know, a totally sort of Hampshire-based supply chain.
And you've also got some well-known followers on your Instagram.
We got a really lucky break at the start. An ex-Love Island star contacted us out of the blue. We then got a few more sort of celebrity followers, a few like local golfers like Justin Rose, Georgie Hall. We just love the community that you can sort of create on Instagram, and it's you know, great to be able to share our story, talk about what we do, which I think people love to just engage with.
Right, there we are, there we have it.
Voila.
Perfect.
Absolutely brilliant.
Alexis has gone off to prepare her weather. She's swapping her computer screens for magnets. Lewis is here with the sport. In a moment, we'll talk how sport is changing. First, though, we can't not talk about the Saints game.
Yeah, it's a massive game in the Championship. Obviously, it would have been better if Saints had won at the weekend, but such is the way their results have changed that it's now kind of more whether Leicester are going to get promoted and win the league. And Saints really just want to kind of stay in the playoff mix, but a massive game nonetheless.
Have to point out that you ran in today.
I did, yeah. That was one thing that wasn't sustainable, the pace. It became more of a walk at the end, but yeah, it's...
But what else have you been finding out about sport?
Well, the thing with sport, there's obviously fixtures aplenty, isn't there? And that involves teams and fans going long distances to make their fixtures. And there's a lot about kind of whether the clubs are kind of sustainable in themselves. So they're doing more, I guess, about the designs of stadiums to see if they can try and save some money, but also be better for the environment. So I've been to look at a couple of our local stadiums to see if that's the case.
They're the arenas in which sporting emotions unfold, where supporters gather to cheer on the wins and bemoan the losses. But our sporting clubs in the south are now focusing on environmental wins off the pitch too. I've come to the Utilita Bowl, the home of Hampshire cricket, who have bold ambitions to become the world's greenest cricket ground.
We're going to put about 1,100 panels around the ground on the roof of the stands and the hotel, and that's going to have a massive impact on our carbon footprint. We've estimated that's going to save about a quarter of the energy that we use every year.
The plans to install over 1,000 solar panels will see every match powered by daylight, saving 80 tonnes of carbon per year.
We put in around 400 trees as part of a project that we started actually in 2021, and there's going to be a few thousand more as we go. The project's got a few years to run yet.
What responsibility do sport clubs have in pushing that sustainable agenda?
We've got such high profile, we're fortunate in that respect, and so what we do can inspire others and help others to see what can be achieved.
Updating current stadiums is one thing, and most of our teams in the south now have sustainability strategies. But what about when you have a blank canvas? How will future stadium designs be influenced by a push to be greener? Oxford United Football Club has submitted plans for its new stadium to be the first in the country powered solely by electricity.
Sport plays a major role in our community. It would offer us the chance to be the hub of energy efficiency and showing how Oxford are looking to lead the way in the world of environmental sustainability. So it's fantastic.
That will bring a benefit clearly to the environment, but are there financial benefits as well for a club like the size of Oxford's?
It represents an investment up front, a capital investment up front, but the idea being medium to long term, it does have a good return to the club and puts us in a more sustainable position financially as well as in terms of the environment.
That responsibility that clubs have, is that taken seriously enough, do you think?
I think it's getting there. I think it hasn't in the past, if we're honest with ourselves. I think football has an incredible capacity to inspire change in particular.
As sports clubs continue to play an important role in their communities, the hope is that a move to more sustainable stadiums will provide additional wins away from sporting success.
Well, Dr. Sam is back on the sofa. Sam, I guess anything that involves a lot of people is going to have a massive carbon footprint, and sport is a great example.
Yes, yeah, I'd say so. So there's thousands of people that sort of buy into sport, buy merchandise, travel to sport. Then, of course, you've got the teams themselves and the travel that they do. Yeah, certainly.
Well, we just heard about kind of the things some of our teams are doing to be more sustainable. How much is it like PR? They just want to be seen to be doing the right thing.
I've got to be honest, I know a few people that do just want to sort of be seen to do the right thing, but it's also, it does really make you much more profitable. So, you know, I'm from Reading, I've got a few clubs near me that are struggling, and certainly to reduce the energy consumption of their matches is going to make them more profitable.
We see all our teams, don't we, travelling up and down the country, sometimes abroad. How sustainable
commentators?
Well, yeah. You think of F1, you know, cars driving. They travel all the distance. How sustainable is sport like that?
Unfortunately, not very. So transport is actually the number one issue for particularly for football. So transport first, and then usually the waste that they produce for each match day, and then after that, often the energy consumption of the stadium themselves. So transport is the biggest carbon issue for football, especially.
What about the meat pies? You know, are they looking at what they feed fans seriously, and the sorts of things they can do in the catering side?
So I know one or two that are. I manage hospitality energy savings, so we've got quite a few football stadiums on our books, and certainly the very best are looking at everything that they buy in. So food and food service, you know, a lot of these organisations are hospitality organisations, so they rent out their spaces for big hospitality events. So the food service element is absolutely massive for a lot of football stadiums, and that's alongside what they cook as well as how they cook it. So using a lot of gas for their cooking, or perhaps using something electric that's powered renewably on site.
Love it. Thank you so much for coming to the sofa. This is it. It is time for Magnets A Go-Go. Anything could happen. Alexis is over there with a new look weather.
It certainly is. Yes, this may take you back to the 1970s with Barbara Edwards and Michael Fish, where we had stick-on magnet forecast symbols. Now, if you don't like the forecast I'm going to give you this evening, you can go onto social media on X, formerly known as Twitter, to see the full forecast there. And it's also, I posted it earlier on today on the BBC Weather website, bbc.co.uk/weather. Now, today we've had a good deal of cloud. Tonight, also a fair amount of cloud, really right across the board. We could see some patchy drizzle almost anywhere, but there will be generally a lot of dry weather. The winds are coming in from the north. They're fairly light. Today, that wind really took the edge off temperatures. Temperatures tonight down to around 3, 4 to around 6 Celsius. But out in the countryside, potentially we could see a touch of frost with temperatures maybe falling there under the clear skies towards freezing. Now tomorrow there will be a little bit of a northerly breeze. It won't be as strong as today. It'll be just generally fairly light to moderate, but it will make it feel a lot cooler as we head through the course of tomorrow. And through the day, first thing, there will be a lot of cloud. Maybe some patchy drizzle at first, but the good news is things start to brighten up more widely. We'll start to see sunny spells break through, generally more widely as we head through the afternoon. Some patchy cloud here and there, that northerly breeze taking the edge off temperatures, and temperatures in general still just a bit below the seasonal average, 10, 11, 12, even 13 degrees. So it's going to feel quite cool tomorrow, but given the sunshine, more sunshine than today, it will feel pleasant in the sunny spells. So that's the forecast for tomorrow, sunny spells developing. The outlook is looking fairly mixed because we are going to see some sunshine during the course of tomorrow, some showers develop during Thursday. They will be very much hit and miss. Some areas could stay dry altogether. Still that northerly influence as well. A degree or so higher, they're coming back towards their seasonal average. Now, in the last few hours, we've changed this symbol. The graphics designer who has done an amazing job on this, he actually drew this whole map by hand. We've had to change this to a cloud symbol, so fairly cloudy through Friday with the odd shower. Back to you, John.
Round of applause for Alexis. I want magnets every single day. Well done. Now, Alexis, what is this? You could fit an eagle in here.
Yes. I was thinking it's more of an owl box than it is like a blue tip box, maybe.
Absolutely terrific effort, though. I think probably the tree that is pinned to is at risk of keeling over. But a fantastic thing that you've made, that you've upcycled. Listen, it's been terrific fun trying to cut our carbon here on BBC South Today. We've learned all sorts of stuff. We learned that Lewis runs like a whippet, that Alexis cycles like the wind. But we found out that just by doing one or two small actions, you can make a real difference. And it doesn't have to cost a lot of money. Sometimes all you have to do is spend time. We're going to leave you with a sneaky peek behind the scenes to show you how we put this whole low carbon program together. Bye-bye.
Good night.
Good night.
So this morning I've ditched the car. What a day for it.
We're boiling the kettle using Ian's electric car.
Here is the electric car. Let's get on the road.
I've decided that I'm going to car share. Hi, Ian.
A very green South Today. Lights,